What up, people? It's your boy, Massachusetts, out here with another comic review. So we got Mera, Queen of Atlantis, one of a six-issue miniseries, of course. The battle for the throne begins here. And honestly, one of my favorite colorists, Veronica Gandini, is doing this, and I love her work, of course, on Red Hood and the Outlaw, so I just had to buy the book for her coloring work. But apart from that extra, you know, incentive and beauty. This was a well-written book. Like it's nice. Like this is fantastic. I really liked it. Mera is her own character, and I haven't touched the Aquaman books, but I did read the last issue, and I know that she has been gravely weakened by magic due to the whole thing happening in Atlantis. How Arthur, Aquaman, is trying to fight to get the throne, but he sent her to the surface so that she could rest up and heal at the moment. So let's get into it post haste. So we see we're in Louisiana of a man narrating, telling a story to his son. And he's talking to his son, telling him stories about Atlantis. And he's like, I know, young one, it's time for you to slumber. Tomorrow, sake, I will tell you a story of Fleet Master, Orlok in the Reef Wars. Sleep well, Tommy. And he's like, night, Dad. It's like, and you know, it's like the big moments in life happen like that. Tiny things alter the world forever. It's like he called me Dad. I said, what was that, honey? Then, of course, you hear the news. That, it's like, I said he called me Dad. He's never done that before. Oh, Orm. That's so great. So this is Orm, Ocean Master, brother of Aquaman. It's like, and then, he seems to, I never knew that Ocean Master had disappeared from, like, mainstream. He's like, she's telling that they have a PTA meeting tomorrow, and I don't know what's it with DC, but they seem to be really including the family dynamic a lot. You got Silencer with her family, you got now Orm with this family. But we hear on the news it's like, honey, PTA, hello. It's like violent attack in Amnesty Bay made earlier today. Police say the target was apparently Mera, the so-called mermaid wife of Arthur Curry, the Aquaman. Mera, who is royalty in the civilization of Atlantis, has recently won public acclaim serving with the Justice League. Rumors suggest this political upheaval, perhaps even civil war, underway in Atlantis. There are concerns troubles have now spread to U.S. soil. Unconfirmed reports suggest that Aquaman, King of Atlantis, may even be dead, and then we see Orm breaks this glass. It's like, Orm, are you okay? Baby, did you cut yourself? It's like, it's nothing. Not a scratch. I forget how superhuman you are sometimes. Was it the TV? The news of such? She's like, no, Mera took me by surprise. Trouble in Atlantis, I said. You're not tempted to go back, are you? I mean, go back and get involved? It's like, do not fret, Aaron. My life is here. My life is you. Look at that. But then look at this pic. Ooh, this is fantastic. So we see Mera. This was an Amnesty Bay 6 hours earlier. Queen in Exile. Dan Abnett, the writer, doing a good job. And just see Lan Mandina, the pencils. Veronica Gandini did the colors. Nice. Then we see the guy named the Eel. He's attacking Mera, and of course, it seems that Orm is the one who's narrating this, and he's narrating the whole fight, and we can see that she's not at 100%. And she's tired of, she's like saying that she still wants to fight. She's not allowing things to her weaknesses to hold her back. She wants to fight for what she believes in and be a hero. So the Eel is just taking her down. She's supposed to be resting, lying low, far away from the dangers and enemies until she's strong again. Strong enough to face them. It's like, I tell you, easiest money ever made, so she's strong enough to decide for herself what she's going to be, wife or queen. So she gets thrown into the ocean, and she can't swim like she used to. It's like hero, civilian, service swimmer, or Atlantean royalty, alive or dead. She can't even breathe water anymore. She's wounded by magic, healing slow. She was instructed sternly to stay out of the water until the magic left her system. This used to be her element, and now it's his, and she's helpless. So Eel is just taking her down in the water, which is unprecedented. Saying she grays out, basically remembering all that happens, how she's remembering all the good times with Arthur, Aquaman, a younger Aquaman. And then, it flashes back pretty much everything that happened in Zebel, how she gets taken down. It's like, they served me well enough. It's like, baby, if you rely too much on your hard work as powers go, this is her training, basically. She's like, but take them away, and what are you, weak, helpless? I taught you all the skills of war, the blade first. You should be able to take an opponent without your powers. So she's like, maybe not such wasted childhood then. Those skills Laron beat into her all those years. How to parry, how to block, her foe's skills. Nice deflection, but how to take down an opponent. So she uses her aqua kinetics, but she's still able to control the waters in it. So she uses good strategy to take down her opponent and take him down. Bam. It's like, man, where's she? And then we hear that Tula is here, an old student of hers. And she's like, holy crap, Mera, are you alright? You know you shouldn't be out here fighting. And she's like, I didn't start it. And Tula's the one who said that she's basically nursing her to health. And it's like, whoa, Mera, are you okay? That was insane. We'll get this guy straight to custody. And she's like, he's too dangerous for you to hold, Officer Watson. He's an aqua kinetic. I'll summon the Justice League. So they're at the old lighthouse. She's like, well, the eel's secure, but that's not saying much. He's ex-Gotham Underworld, a paid killer. Any ideas why he's gunning for you, Mera? And, Tula's like, oh, you want some sugar? It's like, imagine he was hired by my enemies in Atlantis. It's like, you told us King Wrath has seized power in the ocean, but frustratingly not much else. It's like, why would he strike against you on dry land? And why by proxy? Atlantean warriors like Kingsguard and the Drift are formidable. So we see that, deniability. Wrath won't act against me openly on land. It's like, but to hire a surface agent, that's exactly how Wrath would try to murder the Queen of Atlantis. Like, did you just say yes, Diana? To my surprise, I've been declared Queen in exile. Once that monster Wrath is overthrown, I am to be the next ruler of Atlantis. Wrath seized power by exploring the people's dissatisfaction with Arthur's split loyalty with Atlantis and the service world. Arthur is down in the kingdom now, leading the revolt against Wrath's rule, but Arthur has refused to take the throne back once Wrath is gone. And Superman's like, well, we knew things were bad, but we've barely seen Aquaman. Does he need help? Does he need the League to help him? It's like, categorically no. Thank you, Diana, but the civil war in Atlantis must be resolved by its own. Atlantis is fighting for its very identity. Any outside interference, especially from surface sweaters, however well intentioned, will make things worse. It's like, I understand, but the surface is afraid of Atlantis, and Atlantis is of the surface, as Atlantis is of the surface. And the surface nations fear a war, and Atlantis will grow to threaten the whole world as a whole? Yeah, she knows that. My mission is to keep the world calm while events play out in the ocean. It's like, is that why you're a queen in exile? Whoa. It's like, you gotta tell them. It's like, we got to tell them, Mera. Yeah. So we see that it's because she's hurt. Mera went to Atlantis to help Arthur, but she was wounded by the magics that Wrath is using. Her powers are weak, her strength is low, and she can't breathe underwater. She's supposed to be convalescing. Her powers will return in due course as the magic fades, but she has to stay here on the surface until she's fully recovered. And she's like, I'm so sorry, Mera. But it's like, what will you do in exile? He's like, I didn't ask to be queen, and I don't intend to be queen any longer than I have to. Once the elders will eventually find a more suitable option, then Arthur and I will finally marry and live as we plan. Until then, I am duty-bound to keep the conflict between the ocean and dry land at bay until the crisis is resolved. So, she goes to the State Department. Like royalty, she's like, I'm not entirely how sure I can help you today. There's no formal diplomatic embassy between the U.S. and Atlantis. It's like the American Secretary of State seems pleasant. She's good at her job, but then she undoubtedly wanted it. Mera reaches back to other childhood training. The arts of diplomacy that was every royal princess was supposed to master. So she's a good diplomat. We get it. These are characteristics of an interesting person. So it's like civil war besets Atlantis. I know you're aware of this. I've come to offer my assurances. Your Majesty, the last conflict between my country and yours cost us both a lot. We are closely monitoring developments. We're not going to let things get out of hand again. It's like, I request merely a commitment, Madam Secretary, that your country holds off any operations to neutralize Atlantis. Stability will be resolved. It's like, and then you'll be Queen of Queen? That's a hell of a life to choose. It's like, my future was decided even before I was born. I find I have increasingly little say in my own destiny. And she explains the history of Atlantis, like both Atlantis and Zebul are ancient cultures. Their politics are governed by bloodline and heritage and complex tradition. Zelbillian martial code in particular is very strict. Most grievances and affairs of state are decided by ritual combat. So it's like, oh, well, I'm happy we don't have that. So am I. Her cordial conversation in this office is more civilized than a rite of mortal combat in an arena built from a shipwreck scrap. It's like, plus I'd really lose. It's like, Our words are very different. Our words are very different, Your Majesty. Indeed they are, and I'm aware my prowess as a warrior must take a back seat. Atlantis needs a very different kind of queen if it's to enjoy a peaceful relationship with the surface world. It's like, we'll hold off for now. But if the undersea war spills into the U.S. territory, we will have to take action. I understand. Thank you. It's like, I look forward to continuing this conversation in a more peaceful situation, Your Majesty. We can see that she's thinking about Arthur, dreaming about him. It's like the happiness that was just within reach, but he's far away and she's alone. It's like, is this the place, man? It's like, yes, thank you. It's like, this is the place. They were going to spend their lives as husband and wife. No kings, no queens, just two people in love. She hopes that future hasn't gone away forever. Meanwhile, back in Louisiana, do you see the rain descending? Aaron and Tommy are playing outside in the rain. They look so happy. He never thought he'd come to love this life so much. He said, come outside, Dad. He's like, I shall be there soon. I'll be there soon, young one. Now he's found it. He can't bear the idea of leaving it. But it's time to go. Oh, let me see the reflection of Ocean Master. And we even see Ocean Master returns. Fantastic book. I give this a 9 out of 10. Like, we really get, like, Mera's this strong character. Like, look at that. Like, I'm very interested. I'm glad that she got her own series. Like, this is nice. Very nice indeed. So once again, thank y'all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notifications to make sure you're notified. Once again, I do these reviews for you, the people, so I can discuss good comics and get your views on them. Thank y'all for watching. I should have more videos up later today.